I'm breathing underwater, I'm weightless through space. I'm soaring like an eagle all over this place. Creatures most will never see are waiting there to look at me, and all I gotta do is breathe underwater. Patterson is hearing something strange on the hydrophones. He can't identify it.
Could be a pack of whales feeding on plankton, sir.
Well, let's hear it.
Come on, Patterson. You know a group of whales is called a pod.
Take us down another 30 fathoms.
Maneuvering reduced speed to 5 knots, descend to 200 feet.
200 feet. Aye, sir.
Admiral Nelson feels the change in his cabin and heads up to see what they've found. There's no apparent source for the sounds, nothing on the charts, and nothing that they can see out the observation nose. But the Admiral has been reading some old seafaring stories about this area.
300 years ago, a fleet of British ships was destroyed in this area by a gigantic maelstrom. The survivors told of hearing a strange rock-like symphony coming up from the depths just before their ships were sucked down.
Well, there've been a lot of tall sea tales like that one.
I know, but there's often a hard core of fact buried in these old fables, you know?
Captain, we're getting a pretty strange reading on sonar.
The reading is some massive turbulence that came from nowhere. It's strong enough to damage the rudder and knock out the reactor. They'll be out of commission for at least 3 hours. Fortunately, they were able to have a new rudder delivered via the new transport service Unter Uber. Suddenly, Captain Crane had an overwhelming urge to say, "Dave's not here." They closed the blast screen when the trouble started. Maybe opening it will yield some answers. That is a humanoid made of rocks. It wanders away out of sight, and neither of them are sure they saw it at all. Let me help you, gents. I saw it too. It's real. The question isn't whether they were hallucinating or not. The questions are, what does it want, and do we want to give it to him? I'm not sure sending divers out to find it is the best idea we've had all day, but that's the plan.
Kowalski, Richards, getting and diving gear on the double.
Hey, what's the poop?
What's the poop? Is that the way you address a chief petty officer?
Hey, I'm only kidding, Sharky. Now, Richards is a new man. Can't you tell him if there's anything special to this mission?
You wouldn't catch me going diving without knowing what the goal is and how to achieve it. Just tell them they're going out to look for a walking pile of rocks. Make sure the camera is pointed at their faces when you do. Richards is new, and Kowalski isn't sure he's ready for anything weird. He signed off on Richards' diving certification, but that training didn't include a segment about looking for monsters that they haven't even told you about yet.
Now, there are two things I want you to check on. First, the cause of this turbulence, and any strange rock formation you might find.
Strange rock formation, sir? How do you mean?
Well, I'm sorry I can't be more specific, but we spotted something through the observation nose that looked like some kind of moving, fossilized rock growth.
I got it, sir. We report anything that looks like it doesn't belong there.
That's the general idea.
When we lived in Wyoming, I went out every year and hunted a deer so we had meat for the winter. The thing is, when you're in a forest and you're trying to find big game, you don't look for an animal. You look for part of an animal, something that doesn't belong. That's essentially what he's telling them to do here. If you see any rocks walking along the bottom, report them. It's the same with the other order. Find the source of the turbulence. What are they supposed to look for? Something that doesn't look natural. Who did that? Suddenly, Kowalski looks around and Richards is gone, vanished without a trace. The turbulence broke his radio, so Kowalski doesn't know anything else to do but return to the sub and report it. That's how we do it in diving. If you get separated, you search for 1 minute, then end the dive. It happened to me with my daughter once. We were in a group of 4 and suddenly we were a group of 3. We searched, then made our way back in. When we surfaced, she was a good 100 yards away from us. There was no fault to be assigned. It happens, especially if visibility isn't very good. Kowalski is doing it right. Meanwhile, that turbulence hit the sub again, and we have a fire in the circuitry room. Ever since we learned that there was a circuitry room, it's been nothing but trouble. Anybody who wants to disable the ship can just head there. Maybe having the electronic hubs and stuff all in one place isn't such a great idea. Both men are overcome by smoke and others have to finish the job, but the fire is out and a repair crew is ready to fix what's broken. Burnt. Nelson and Sharkey will take the flying sub and go look for Richards, as well as the source of the weird clicking noise that Kowalski heard just before Richards vanished. At the same time, Crane sends out a 3-man diving team to help look. We're getting a lot of time with Nelson and Sharkey working together. That's by design, a design that came from the star of the show. Richard Basehart enjoyed the way he and Terry Becker played off each other so much, he begged the writers to give him more of it. When your name appears first in the cast list of a hit show, you get what you beg for, and we get to enjoy it. The dive team finds Richards unconscious. Richards is unconscious, not the dive team. He's obviously out of commission, or he'd be back on board by now. With a little help from his friends, he's in sickbay.
What's wrong with him?
Apparently he's had some kind of terrible shock.
Shock?
Yes. All I can make out is that he was attacked by something weird. Monstrous.
What's this?
Richards was clutching that in his hand when he was brought in here.
It looks like some kind of fossilized growth.
In technical terms, we call it a rock.
Seaview to FS1, Seaview to FS1. Come in, please.
What is it, Lee?
Admiral, Richards is back aboard.
Good. Now, how is he?
I'm going down to the sick bay now to check him on.
All right, keep me informed. I'm going to have a look around out here.
Aye, sir.
Suddenly they're hearing the banging sounds again, but there's no source for them.
Look there, sir.
That seems to be the source of the sound. Flying sub to Seaview.
We read you, Admiral. Go ahead.
We've located the source of the sound. It's coming from a cave. We're going in to explore. So track us all the way.
Without warning, a super strong current is dragging them in and the engines can't fight against it. The cave takes them into an underwater grotto where there's an air pocket and a small beach. May as well break out the inflatable and go see what they can find. To make matters worse, the Seaview has lost track of them.
Sir? Look at this. Found it behind the rock.
Flintlock, huh? About 17th century, I'd say.
On his next leave, the chief took it to L.A. and sold it to a collector. At last report, he's still traveling around the world in his luxury yacht.
300 years old. How did it get here?
The same way we did.
I didn't know it was...
It was loaded. That is one of the saddest phrases.
I've said it before. Every gun is loaded until you verify otherwise, and even then you treat it as though it were loaded. His little boo-boo will have big repercussions.
The rock is moving.
What do you mean? What do you mean the rock's moving?
The rock, it's moving.
Not only is it moving, it didn't like being shot at.
Hold it a minute, Chief. Might be able to talk to it. We're here as friends. You understand? Friends.
Peace! We come in peace!
We come in peace. I'm only sticking this weapon up your nose because I thought you might like a closer look at it. I don't think Rock Guy is buying it. And just in case, it brought some friends. What do they intend to do with our heroes? We'll have to wait a little bit to find out. Richards is waking up.
How you feeling, buddy, huh? Doc said you had some kind of shock, but you're okay now, aren't you?
Shock. Yeah, shock. I'm fine. Leave me alone.
Okay.
Go away.
He's awake, but something is still very wrong. We've seen Jerry Catrone, I hope I said that right, so many times I quit counting. He's one of the few people who was in all 4 of Irwin Allen's series, and we saw him in both Batman and the Green Hornet. He was a character actor who wasn't afraid to take the uncredited bit parts as well as roles like this one. There's not much info about him, which kind of saddens me because he strikes me as a very interesting person. Kowalski wants the doctor to check on him because of the way he's behaving, and that's going to tell us just how interesting he is.
Easy, take it easy, Richards. Take it easy, boy. Easy.
Oh, that explains it. He's turning into one of those stone guys. Wait, he's what? How does that happen?
You are safe. They will not harm you while I am here. Let me introduce myself. Captain Jacob Wren of the submarine Troilus, at your service.
The Troilus disappeared 30 years ago with all hands. What's he doing here and like that?
I managed to survive, thanks to the Rockmen.
But just what are they, Captain?
They were just like you and me, about 250,000 years ago.
You mean they were human?
Indeed, before they were trapped here by a cataclysmic eruption. Strange forces from the magma deep in the earth changed them into what you see now.
Mutants.
Exactly. As I am becoming, as you two will become. If you decide to stay with us.
Something I want to know, why don't all those other guys have the same resonant studio booth quality voice that you have? The Admiral and the Chief don't care. They're choosing to hop in the raft and get back to the Seaview.
Wait. You have freedom of choice. Did we not allow the other one to return?
Oh, you mean Richards?
So he gave his name.
Well, what did you do to him?
Merely questioned him, Admiral. Our people are curious about many things.
They're especially curious about vehicles that could take them to the surface. Nelson and Sharkey don't know what happened to Richards yet, but if that's what happens when they question someone, they ain't getting any answers out of me. He convinces them to come into that cave and observe a ceremony where they dip a partially formed rock guy into a lava pit, and he comes out fully transformed. That's supposed to convince them to stay.
Right. Forget it.
We all know the freedom of choice he's giving them. Join us willingly or join us unwillingly.
He will soon be impervious to the ills of the flesh. That is the gift I offer you, gentlemen, a fountain of youth.
You plan to do that to us whether we want to or not. Now, why do you want to do it? Why?
Why, Admiral? Because I, Captain Jacob Wren, will lead my people back to Earth, to the promised land. We shall take over it as our heritage.
Considering how they got here and how they got like this, I'd say the planet disagrees with you since it's the one that buried everything. Their heritage is exactly what they have now. No person, group, or species is entitled to run the planet. We humans currently run things because we were the first ones to figure out how.
I need your submarine, your men, your missiles.
Oh, you'll never get to Seaview.
Admiral, your proud submarine lies helpless, defenseless out there, ready to be taken over at my command, with all its sophisticated weaponry.
Well, you can't fire those missiles.
Our firing procedures are top secret. You know that, Wren.
Of course, Admiral. And I also know that the complete operational data is safely tucked away in your cabin.
Richards.
Now we know they did more than just question Richards because no crew member would give up that information willingly. But it's worse, Richards is searching the Admiral's cabin for it right now. That change that's happening to him must addle a few brain cells too. He expects the top secret missile firing sequence to be in the unlocked desk, or worse, on top of the desk in plain sight. This'll take him a while, but eventually he does run out of unlikely places to look. At least he retains enough brain capacity to read the words top secret. A, look at his arm and wonder what's going on. B, he's 13 times your size, hit him with something. C, if you insist on hand-to-hand, see if you can find a worse way to go about it, after you see the doc about that headache. Now, remember what I said about the circuitry room?
Hand me a screwdriver.
Case in point, both men have to scramble out of there, and he's completely trashing the place. I think Mr. Catrone had way too much fun doing that scene. The sub is rocking back and forth, fires are breaking out everywhere, and Kowalski reports that Richards in the circuitry room is causing it. He hasn't told them about the arm made of rock. That might be information they could use.
Richie? That is Richards?
Never mind, I think they figured it out for themselves.
Come away from that panel.
Come on, Richards, you know us.
Take it easy, Rich. Take it easy. Come on, buddy. Let's go back to sickbay, huh?
Go.
Come on.
Go quickly while you can.
Come on, Bucky, move out.
There's just enough left of him in there to do that before the whatever takes over.
Get a portable force field.
Right, sir.
I need to ask Admiral Nelson what's the point of having steel hatches when the walls are made out of heavy cardboard. He's still down in that cavern. He and the chief are under guard until time for their first trip into the lava pit.
Chief, I got an idea. Keep him busy.
This isn't going well. I don't know what made him think the torches would bother that thing. He's been dunked in lava and he's still on his feet. Maybe not. What happens to their immortal selves if they go for a dip and stay too long? They've reached the flying sub, but so have the rock men.
Sir, they're on the diving planes. Plug the conduit into the power system. Then we can shut them off. We don't have enough juice left. Will you try? Hurry it up, Chief. Okay, sir. It's linked up. Hang on!
It works, they're away. But both Admiral Nelson and Captain Crane know these guys can reach the Seaview whenever they want to. And when they do, what do we do?
We'll need something stronger to stop him. The sonic machine.
That weapon's still in the experimental stage. You could blast the Seaview apart.
We don't have much choice. Better hold him here, Kowalski.
Right, sir.
Not gonna happen. He smashes through the force field, smashes the machine, and smashes Kowalski before he heads on his way.
It's too much of a gamble, Lee. Those sound waves are still highly unstable.
I know. But if we hit the right vibration level, it should knock him out. Now, put this over there on the tool chest.
The wrong intensity could explode the hull.
I know. But I'll bring it up very slowly and then just hope for the best. Come on.
The low settings aren't having any effect. Better turn it up a little. Let's call that enough. The hope is that Richards is a lot tougher than that little piece, so all it'll do is render him unconscious. Like that. They're assuming he's still alive, though 60 years later, we still haven't figured out how to check for a pulse in a rock. They lock him in a storage room, but they don't have any illusions that that'll hold him. Kowalski will stand guard with the sonic weapon.
We thought you were lost. What happened?
Later, how soon to get underway?
About half an hour.
Maybe too late.
Too late for what?
There's a huge grotto of fossilmen below us. The main Atlantis got underway.
Fossils. Well, that's what Richards changed into.
Something's happened to him.
We know exactly what that something was. Better hurry repairs before...
Sounds like they got here already. Unless it's Richards.
Better find out. Take the con chip.
Spoiler, it's not Richards.
There it goes again. Those rock men must be aboard.
The missile room. They could have gotten into the escape hatch. We'll seal off the corridors.
Don't bother, Admiral.
Kowalski, the sound machine.
You see, Admiral, there is no escape for you now. This is what you shall now all become.
I'm more concerned about the fact that anybody can come in through the escape hatch without authorization. When did that happen?
Let's take him, Chief. How high's the tune?
90,000 decibels.
Set it at critical.
It's 150,000 decibels, sir. You'll blow the ship apart.
If you've seen that grotto.
Our choices are take the chance or move there permanently.
Aye, aye, sir.
The boat is still intact. The first expendable extra isn't.
Why don't you give up? You know you're beaten.
The battle's only begun, Admiral.
It's not hard to guess where they're going. Before our guys can follow, they have to get past expendable extra number 2. Fortunately, that doesn't take much. Wren and Richards are in the missile control room and they've jammed the hatch.
With Richard's help, I've set these missiles. They're programmed to destroy your country. Turn over the submarine or I'll fire them.
Sounds like he means it.
He does.
I'm waiting for your answer, Admiral. What is your decision?
I'll try to stall him. You try to get into the missile room through the air ducts.
He starts asking questions while Crane heads for the missile room to try and disable things.
Kowalski, get back out of sight of that sound machine.
Right, sir.
Your time is up, Admiral. I'm going to fire.
Wait. If I agree, exactly what are your terms?
Unconditional surrender. If you wish to be given your orders, you may come in here alone.
Agreed.
That means they open the hatch, which is a start. Hopefully he can keep them distracted long enough for Crane to do his thing.
Now, Admiral, you will escort Richards to the control room and turn the operation of the Seaview over to him.
As soon as you shut down the timers.
Not so fast, Admiral. Do as I ask first.
But, Richards isn't qualified to operate the Seaview.
No further arguments, Admiral. Go.
He can still refuse to show Richards how to operate it until Wren stops the launch.
Kowalski!
Or he can do that.
You have gained nothing but death now, Admiral.
The hatch is jammed again, but Captain Crane is in there doing his thing. Too bad Wren discovered him.
Right, sir.
Help is on the way as quick as that plastic explosive does its thing. But is there a way to stop the launch? Was Crane able to do anything? Well, yes, he disabled all but one of them, and that was its propellant burning off because he did keep it from doing an actual launch. What about Wren?
I am not alone, Admiral. The others are coming. They will follow me.
That'll be a good trick since there's nothing to follow now. A few well-placed torpedoes seal up the grotto forever, and that's that.
Then the pounding came, the terrible pounding, as if the heart of Satan himself was beating. An evil hymnal of the rocks as a band of devils sounded from the deep. And that's all.
I suppose that's what it sounded like to the sailing men 300 years ago.
But you know something, Lee? They went too far wrong.
How did you do with this episode? I'm torn because we had some outstanding performances, especially by Jerry Catrone. But how the Rockmen came to be is, yeah. They can live underwater, which means they don't breathe, yet one of them can talk. The Seaview leaves the escape hatch unlocked from the outside, so any goofball who can make it through the water can just bebop on in. They have a sonic weapon that they aren't sure won't rip the whole sub apart if they use it, which raises the obvious question, why do they have it? But the most important lesson we can take away from the episode is this: if the sub is a rockin' and the rocks come a knockin', don't you ever let them in. All I gotta do is breathe underwater. Breathe underwater. Breathe underwater. His little boo-boo is... It's all right. I promise I won't tip over on you again.